So that chappie does actually have an SIA back licence on him, on his coat. But being approached now from the right, I think. Oh yeah.
Can you stop recording, please, so I can have a discussion with you?
Why can't you have a discussion with me while I'm recording?
Because you're not allowed to record on our premises.
What's your name? Jamie?
So my name's Jamie, I'm
nice
the
to meet
Senior
you.
Ops Manager for Amazon Logistics in the Southwest.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Can I just inquire what you're up to?
Just making a little video around the area, to be honest.
Yeah, you're not allowed to do that on our property, so if you could do it from off our property.
Is that against the law, is it?
It's not, yes, it's not allowed for us to be, for you to be filming on
Is that against the law or is that a policy?
It's be our policy, yes.
Do I work for you?
No.
Do I sign up to your policies?
No, but I would encourage you if you could not, I'll report it up in terms of civil authorities if you continue to...
Okay, that's fine. There's not a lot they can do about it either.
Yeah, but if you could not walk around anywhere and record any of our buildings.
But there's a public reception there.
You need permission to record people. It's a GDPR requirement. So
GDPR.
I don't give you permission to utilise.
You know do you know who GDPR applies to?
Pretty much everybody.
Organisations.
Yeah.
I'm not an organisation. I'm a person.
Okay.
It doesn't apply to me.
Well, I'll leave you with our security team.
Go for it.
And so they just need to know you're not allowed. You're trespassing currently on our property.
Cool. So where's your property line end? Begin, sorry.
Up against this, if you can just stare to the end of
So when the bricking starts,
yes,
that's your property?
If you stand on that path on the other side, you're good to go.
Okay, cool. Alright, well, as soon as I've been asked to leave, I will leave.
That's really kind of you, thank you.
But obviously, trespassing is a civil matter. Until I've been asked to leave your property, then it's not trespassing.
No, so
but now you've asked, I will leave, that's
really
fine. But again, I will still be recording from the public footpath.
Yeah, of course you can.
But yeah, it's...
Is there anything I can help you with at all?
No, not at all. It's literally just coming past. Just like a really big site. I didn't know it was out here. So is this for the whole of Southwest, this depot?
No,
or is
this is just for this sort of extra area.
Just for the extra area, is
so
it?
We have multiple sites across the region. This
Okay.
is one of them.
There you go, interesting, yeah. I just go around all sorts of places making videos and other things that I find interesting, really. Yeah, that's fine, not a problem. If you want me to leave, I'll go stand over there.
Yes, if you could, more than happy if you to record just off the premises.
Yeah.
But yeah, no problem.
All right, no worries. Cheers, Jamie.
Thanks very much.
Before this situation even begins to unfold, you need to understand something critical. This isn't just a random encounter with a man holding a camera. This is a perfect storm of misunderstanding, authority, and confidence colliding in real time. On one side, you've got a cameraman who clearly knows the law and is calmly standing his ground. On the other, corporate staff and later even police officers trying to assert control based on what they believe the law says, not necessarily what it actually says. Now here's where it gets interesting. This entire situation spirals over three key issues: filming in public, GDPR, and trespassing. Sounds simple, right? It's not. Because what you're about to see is how quickly things escalate when people confuse policy with law and implications, and one wrong assumption could completely flip who's...
That's not good. There. It's a sort of back of house sort of area. Keep in mind, everywhere I've walked so far, there's not been any signage saying no pedestrian access, no unauthorised access, or anything like that. But yeah, those computer screens there should not be on display. You alright? Yeah, I've just noticed as I'm walking around, all your computer screens in the office there, they're all facing the window. That's quite a breach of GDPR. Obviously, I don't know what you record on the computer, so if there's any personal information on those screens, obviously that's a huge breach of GDPR.
Are you recording?
I am at the moment, yeah.
You do have to ask for my permission if you want to record me.
Of course I don't.
Okay? Yes, you do have to. Under the Data Protection Act, you have to ask for my permission.
Do you know who that applies
Okay?
to?
Yes, I do.
Who does that apply to? Organisations.
This is an organisation.
Yeah, but I'm not.
I'm also data protection.
Yeah.
You are not allowed to record
But
without my
I'm
permission.
recording from a public place. So that's Karen there from Eon. It's protected by Mighty. Anything I would say that it's protected by Eon. By Karen from Eon. So I saw her telling a couple of other people that I was here. So what we do?
Where the first major contradiction hits, the manager steps in with authority, introduces himself professionally, and immediately tries to control the situation by saying filming isn't allowed. But did you catch what he said next? He admits it's company policy. That's a huge moment. Because policy only applies to employees or people who've agreed to it, not random members of the public. The cameraman's response is subtle but devastating. Do I work for you? That one line dismantles the entire argument without raising his voice. And this is where tension builds, not through aggression but through quiet confidence. The manager is trying to enforce something he doesn't actually have legal backing for, and the cameraman knows it. So now the question becomes,
See if I go close that door. Again, keep in mind that not a single person has actually asked me to leave. My lens just got a bit of rain on it, I think. Bear with me, guys. Whoop. So I cleared it up a bit, there we go. Yeah, so that door down there is wide open. I just told him that, you know, obviously I can walk right in that door. But so yeah, they're going to call 999 for a man with a camera. Let's have a wander around here, see what Karen's... Blinds? Have you got blinds? Pardon? Yeah, no, certainly haven't got blinds or anything. But that's it. Karen don't want to use her computer while I'm here. Hey, there we go. Somebody went down and closed that door down there, which is good. If anything, what I've done here today is alerted them to a security breach. I could have been anybody with nefarious intent. I could have just walked straight into that building and done anything, all sorts.
this right here is one of the most misunderstood parts of modern law GDPR. You hear it thrown around constantly, almost like a shield to stop any kind of recording. But listen carefully to how it's being used here. The assumption is that filming someone automatically violates data protection laws. That's simply not true. DPR is about how organizations collect and process personal data, not about individuals filming in public spaces. And the irony? While they're accusing the cameraman of breaching privacy, their own setup with computer screens visible from outside could actually pose a real data protection risk. That's the twist. The person being challenged may not be the one creating the problem. And suddenly the narrative starts to shift.
CCTV all over the building. So there we go. Yeah, just move out the road, shall we? That's cool.
What's going on today?
I was just around the area doing a little recording out in public. Went down to Amazon and walk around the site up there. It's a business park site. Noticed the Eon site here. Had a walk around. Went down to the Exeter North Airport bit down there. Had a walk around. Noticed they had, as I was walking up just over there, they had one of their doors wedged open. So I was going to go up to the reception to tell them that it was open. Obviously, it's a security risk for them. Because I noticed it on the way down to the airport bit. Yeah. On the way back up, it was still open. So I thought I'd let them know. So the door was locked, so I was going to go around, knock on their window and let them know. I was going around there. Obviously, they were on the screens and that. They saw me, came to the door, and said to them, just noticed while they're there, obviously they're breaching GDPR because their computer screens are all facing the window for a publicly accessible point, which is a breach of GDPR on their part. As soon as I mentioned that, she just got funny, said, "Oh, you can't record, you have permission to record me," and all that. And I said, you know, I don't need the permission to record you.
So in a public place, you don't.
No, exactly.
Private place, which that is private.
Yeah, if I were
conditional access.
No, that's it. Yeah, but
if they've asked you to leave and stop recording.
But the thing is, nobody not once has asked me to leave.
Okay. That's what you're going to say. Then.
Yeah. I mean, it's all recorded.
If they have asked you to leave and you're
yeah.
not there for kind of recording, then
yeah, that's civil trespass.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean I can't. Doesn't mean I can't record.
If it steps into the realm of like aggravated trespass and things like that, ultimately, I just want to make sure that there's not any issues down here.
Yeah, no.
They decided to call us.
Yeah.
At some point, I think.
Yeah,
I'm not saying what has or hasn't happened, but somebody said they might have felt intimidated by your presence.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I can say I feel intimidated by yours, you know. You know what I mean.
I totally get what you're saying. If you're in a private premises and somebody else feels intimidated, and as a result of their lawful activities, regardless of what you're going to say about GDPR and things like that.
Yeah.
If lawful activities are being disturbed.
Well, it's not lawful. Yeah, as I say, it's not lawful if they're breaching GDPR, is it? But
aggravated trespass.
Yeah. But I'm not stopping them from doing it. I knew they were going to call me, so I just stood there and waited for you guys, because if they're going to waste your time bringing you out here, I don't want your time further wasted searching around the area for me. So I'll wait around and deal with it. Yeah, I just do videos for YouTube. Yeah.
Sheer interest, I can see if I know.
Powers in the proletariat. Go to get some badge numbers for you. So you got 72208201. You're based at Exeter Police Station here.
We're from Honiton.
Oh, you're Honiton Police Station.
Well.
Oh, I'm a Honiton boy, born and raised. Yeah.
My suggestion, my friend, is obviously I'm asking you to leave the area.
Yeah.
This is obviously going to be private land.
Yeah.
Additional access the public have. I would suggest they've now withdrawn that access.
They haven't told me that.
Okay. We can find out if we need to.
Yeah.
But I'm going to ask you to leave the area.
You can't ask me to leave the area. Unless there's a dispersal order in place.
If they've then withdrawn your permission to be here.
But they need to inform me of that, don't they? You're not a person of their business. They need to inform that.
If they've asked me to basically say that you're not.
Yeah, but they haven't told you that yet, have they?
No, they
so you can't ask me to leave until such a time. Yeah. Exactly. So yeah.
Ultimately, mate, I totally get why you do the things that you do. Sometimes you do get certain officers that are dicks and do things that they should be doing. I'm not here to give you a hard time.
Cool. But I said, that's fine. If you find out they don't want me on their property,
do you want to just square that away, my friend, and
find out. Can you ask them where their property line is as well, please?
Sorry?
Their property line. Because obviously this road might be a private road, but obviously you got the Exeter Airport. Exactly, but you got the Exeter Airport down there, so I don't know if they own it, or if it's public.
Then wouldn't get into the territory of is whether or not, even if you do remain in a public area, if your behaviour causes them harassment, alarm and distress, whether or not we then look at public or ground offences. I don't want to really go down that route. I know.
To be fair, I know in the back of my hand what constitutes public order offences, section 4, 4A and 5, and my behaviour does not constitute that at all. So you could, if you wanted to charge me with that and take me in for that, it would be a
flip completely. The cameraman isn't escalating. He's observing. And what he notices is far more serious than anything he's being accused of. An open door. Visible screens. No restricted access signage. These aren't minor issues, these are genuine security vulnerabilities. But instead of addressing those risks, the focus shifts back to him. Why? Because it's easier to confront a person than to confront a problem. This is a classic human reaction. Deflect instead of reflect. And the moment he points out those flaws, you can feel the atmosphere change. The staff go from confident to defensive almost instantly. So now the real question is, was he...
to get a shot of the building, because I was getting bored and cold.
Yeah.
So I was literally stood there doing a pan of the building, doing an outro to the video, and then you guys pulled up. So once you guys are gone, I'll probably stand where I'll stand.
I ask you to give me your name and details. You're going to say.
No, I'm not. No. But
obviously, if it gets to the stage where I suspect you might be committing offences, and I ask you, you do need to give me them.
if you arrest me for it, under suspicion.
Yeah, so
if you detain me, I don't have to. If you arrest me under suspicion, I have to.
If I suspect you of an offence, okay, and you refuse to give me your details, that would then give me a necessity to arrest you. If you give me your details, actually the offence can be dealt with separately without an arrest. That's how.
No. Under the law, you have to be. But once you're arrested, you're obligated to give your details. But you can't arrest me because I refuse to give my details. There's one piece of legislation in the UK that says I have to if you suspect me of it.
Section 50.
Exactly. That's the only one I have to.
Like, from my perspective, to explain it how it would be functionally used.
Yeah.
If I suspect somebody's committed an offence, I need to deal with that offence potentially.
Yeah.
If I don't know who that person is, because they won't give me a name, address, details, or anything like that, I then really have no option other than to arrest that person.
Okay, so you take me in.
Section 24 of PACE basically.
Right.
It covers all of that. The reasons for arrest and the necessities.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to get to that.
I suppose what it is, if I willingly give my details, and then you could be like, right, it's not an offence that I need to bring you into the station right now because you're not causing any immediate harm. You can come and find me later.
Yeah. So refusing to give your details wouldn't be the offence. It would just then provide a necessity for the arrest.
For the arrest, to identify me at the station. Okay.
Because otherwise, how could I reasonably deal with it? You need to be in things like that where possible. Go to practice, so you should do that elsewhere other than an arrest if it's practicable and actually we don't need to arrest somebody.
I see where you're coming from with that, yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get where you're coming from with that.
I'm not here to argue with you. I know how the whole YouTube thing works. I find it quite interesting watching stuff.
Good.
Just out of interest, do you only upload the negative one?
No, I went to a police headquarters up in Cambridgeshire, did their headquarters and that, and I had a really, really positive interaction with PC Chris Hepworth. And I uploaded that, and I made a point to really highlight that video because as much as... I mean, we just show what we see, really. Like, you guys have come out, you've been quite respectful. You know, you haven't tried to like exactly. But yeah, it's when people come out straight away, guns blazing, like, you know, straight away. They didn't want to.
I know that you get a lot of views of police officers doing things that they shouldn't.
Oh, the negative ones, yeah, they get more views, 100%. I went to the headquarters up here about 3 weeks ago in Exeter. Awful, absolutely awful.
I think there's a certain element
of
understanding. Like, you can understand from like a policeman's point of view. I'm not suggesting you're doing anything like this, but if you've got somebody that just wanders into a police area, headquarters, police station, or whatever, I can understand why the officer's going to be a bit like, oh, hang on a minute, who are you and why are you here?
Well, the thing is, I don't know if you've been to the headquarters up at Exeter. So as you drive around sort of the back entrance sort of way, there's a sign, there's a blue circle one that's got a pedestrian and cycle footpath sign on it. So I just carried on walking up there. I'd already been stopped on the corner by a PC. Had a bit of a conversation with her. I said, well, I'm just going to walk along pavements. I'm going to stick to publicly accessible areas. So I was walking up there. They got the barrier for the cars. It's controlled by security. That's it. Yeah. But there's no barrier for the pavement or anything. There's no sign saying no unauthorised access or anything like that. So, you know, so...
That has now changed, isn't it? There's
some well, 3 weeks ago there wasn't, because that's when I did it.
Yeah, possibly, you might have the cause of that.
Yeah, hopefully.
But there's no point in me coming here doing things that I shouldn't do, being horrible to you, being ridiculous, when actually it just makes me look like a mug if I do that.
Well, it's not even that it makes you look like a mug. That's not even the main point. The main point is that the police shouldn't be acting like that, you know. At the end of the day, I've got nothing against the police personally. Exactly that. Act within your powers, act reasonable.
Like the common law side of it that comes in.
Yeah.
Things are a little bit less obvious.
Yeah.
A little bit more grey.
Exactly. Until somebody's committed a crime or suspected of committed a crime, there's nothing the police can really do, you know, apart from liaise between.
I know that you guys do plenty of research yourself and you probably educate yourselves quite a lot.
Yeah.
If we then come across offences,
Yeah.
Like if these guys are saying they don't want you on their premises, and you refuse to leave, I ask you to leave, you don't leave, and that would be...
Comes the escalation, and it's a familiar pattern. Instead of de-escalating or simply asking him to leave, the situation jumps straight to calling the police. And notice the language used. Man with a camera. That phrase alone carries weight. Turns a calm observer into something suspicious. But think about it, what actually changed? Nothing. The cameraman didn't become aggressive. He didn't force entry. He didn't break anything. The only thing that changed was perception. And perception drives reaction. This is where small misunderstandings snowball into full-blown incidents. Because once authorities are involved, the situation is no longer just about facts.
And stopping them. But if I'm just stood outside waiting for you guys, then I'm not aggravated.
Alright, again, I wasn't here.
Yeah, no, of course. This is the thing when they call the police, you get their side of it.
And we can get your side.
Yeah.
The truth tends to sit somewhere in the middle, doesn't it?
Well, the truth sits on the camera. That's why we record. Yeah, they got all the fire trucks and surface.
If they make allegations that your behaviour is causing intimidation and obstruction of their activities, you're refusing to leave. Obviously, we act on suspicion, don't we?
Yeah.
I never say this is happened.
Sure. If it ever got to that point, I would opt to show you the footage on my camera before you decide to arrest me and take me in. I would say, look, how about I stop recording? I'd say that I'd ask you to put your camera on, and I would.
The camera runs anyway, so.
Is it on? Is it?
Yeah, it's been on. I did tell you earlier on in the round.
I was going to say I didn't hear you say that you turned it on.
So
but
yeah, it is what it is. But at the same time,
yeah, if it
I
got.
can understand it from their point of view as just like normal work.
Yeah.
They don't really want a stranger outside filming.
No, literally, like
that you can or can't.
No, literally, if when I'd said to them like, oh, by the way, you're breaking GDPR, and now seeing, if they just said, oh, thanks for letting me know, no problem, I would have turned around and said, no worries, cheers guys, and I would have been on my way. Because I saw them pick up the phone, and I'm like, okay, the police are coming, I don't want to waste your time. If they're going to come out anyway, I don't want you then looking for me, wasting more time. So,
in all fairness, from that perspective, okay, you have scared them today.
Right.
It's females that you've approached in there. All right.
They approached me.
Your persona, do you know what I mean? Hood up, that sort of thing. I get
the hood wasn't up, that's because it was raining, but yeah.
She said they've asked you numerous times to leave the building, leave them alone.
Again, I just said, if it goes to the point, I can show the film.
Me CCTV of them engaging with you.
Yeah.
Okay, so to that effect. So
yeah.
asking you now to leave.
Okay.
Right? They don't want to take it further. They just want you to leave, not to come back.
Okay.
And they said, from their perspective, their GDPR, they follow all the rules and regulations that they need to do.
Yeah.
Whenever they leave a computer unattended, they lock it, all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah, but even when they're on it, it's still visible from a publicly accessible area. That's the point.
You don't know what information's on there. It might be.
Well, when I walked past, there was email addresses, there was people's names and addresses.
Email addresses for spam to work it out.
Yeah, but no, there's people's names and addresses on the screen. I can see it all, you know. Yeah.
Direct complaints.
Yeah. Oh, I will. But the thing is, I like to let somebody hear though, so I don't have to take it that high.
Because we would have the reasonable grounds to suspect, based on the information we were given at the time. If later on the investigation suggests that something else is happening.
See, but then that's tricky, because your suspicion is based on one person's word against the other. So it's like saying you believe a corporation, a business, over a member of the public.
Suspicion is pretty much down here. Believe is quite a lot higher.
Yeah.
If I believe something, then I'm pretty much saying 100% that's suspicion is actually quite a low threshold. And most allegations can only be suspicion really until they've been investigated properly. So it's one of those where it's difficult. I totally get what your point is with it. Actually, yeah, I get it. But at the same time, when you can't raise questions, offences, and things like that. So, yeah, the only way that we can do it is to do it the correct way.
Yeah.
So,
that's fair enough.
Yeah. Hopefully a positive interaction for your channel rather than a bit of one. Hopefully it won't be edited too much.
No, I don't like to. If anything, all I do is I fast forward bits when I sit around, but I don't like to cut it out. People do most say, oh, just show the interactions. Like, no, I like to show everything that led up to it, because I don't want people thinking that I'm going to prodding people to get the reaction. Because I just kind of stand around and people come to me.
And I think, I think these guys, their perception of it might be a bit different. They feel like they're prodded a bit. Phone calls to us.
Oh, literally.
That was your intention or not?
No, literally, I just walked around the building, and then she came to the door. As I was walking back around, she came to the door, and I was like, oh yeah. She's like, can I help? I was like, yeah, just let you know, all your screens are on display and your door's open.
Very close attention here, because this is where the story gets shaped. The officer arrives already referencing claims that may not match what we've seen. Mentions of intimidation. Suggestions he entered the building. But there's no clear evidence of that in the footage. This highlights a key issue. Police often respond based on second-hand information, and that information isn't always accurate. Now, to the officer's credit, he stays relatively calm.